I know. My wife just planted some new flowers, and they're going like that. So, yeah, me too.
6:30.
Well, my watch is official. Okay, we'll start 10 seconds early. All right, I'd like to call to order the July the 5th, 2022 meeting of the Board of Commissioners of the Town of Anger. And we will do first the Pledge of Allegiance, and then Commissioner Alan Coates will lead the invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you as we come here tonight with all the wonderful things that you have done and given to us. We just celebrated the 4th of July celebration of men and women who have served our country, and we are so grateful for that. We thank them for their service. We ask that you guide us tonight as we listen to the people of the town, and we make decisions as to where the future will lead us. These decisions are important for all of us. We ask that you open our minds and our ears to hear and to make wise choices as we move forward. In God's name we pray.
Amen. Thank you, Commissioner Coates. The agenda is before you. Are there any additions or deletions, or is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion that we approve the agenda.
The motion has been made. Any discussion? If not, all in favor, please raise your right hand. And it is unanimous. Okay. All right. This July is Park and Recreation Month. So I'd like to recognize the parks and recreation programs that are part of the town of Anger. You want to come up and be a part of this? Derek is responsible for all that good work down at the park, he and his staff. So this is both to thank you and to recognize your work. Whereas parks and recreation programs are an integral part of communities throughout this country, including the town of Anger. And whereas parks and recreation promotes health and wellness, including the physical and mental health of people who live near parks. And whereas parks and recreation promotes time spent in nature, which positively impacts mental health by increasing cognitive performance and well-being, and alleviating illnesses such as depression, attention deficit disorders, and Alzheimer's. And whereas parks and recreation encourages physical activities by providing space for popular sports, hiking trails, swimming pools, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles. And whereas Parks and Recreation is a leading provider of healthy meals, nutrition services, and education. Y'all serve meals? Sometimes, okay. Whereas Parks and Recreation programming and education activities such as out-of-school time programming, youth sports, and environmental education are critical to childhood development. And whereas Parks and Recreation increase a community's prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas Parks and Recreation is fundamental to the environmental well-being of our community, whereas Parks and Recreation is essential is essential and adaptable infrastructure that makes our communities resilient in the face of natural disasters and climate change. Whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. Whereas the U.S. House of Representatives has designated July as Parks and Recreation Month. And whereas the town of Anger recognizes the benefits derived from parks and recreation resources, now therefore, with the consent of the board, be it resolved that I, Robert K. Smith, Mayor of the town of Anger, proclaim July as Parks and Recreation Month in the town of Anger. Yeah.
I know everybody didn't come to see that, so I'll let you know.
Okay. We have a time for public comment. Typically, public comment, and in this slot, only talks about things that will not be dealt with later in the agenda. There's one person signed up. It says rezoning request. Do you wish to reserve your remarks, T.J. Lynch, until later on? Okay. All right. Anyone else wish to have generic public comment at this time? Okay. If not, we'll move on. The consent agenda, we need to approve the minutes for June the 7th and June the 21st. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. It is so approved. All right, we have public hearings, and these are intended to give the public an opportunity to comment on matters that are currently before the board. The first is public hearing is a voluntary annexation petition. It was submitted by Roger Howard Dupree, requesting to annex approximately 91.85 acres located on Tippett Road and Roy Adams Road in Anger. The sufficiency of the petition and a certification of results were issued in June, and a date to set the public hearing, and that was done by the clerk. And a date to set the public hearing was approved by the board in June and advertised publicly. Following the required public hearing, the town board will be qualified to consider the adoption of an ordinance to annex the property. Sean, if you will present information about this matter to the board and to those present.
Good evening, Board.
Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for that introduction of the first item on tonight's agenda, the public hearing for the voluntary annexation petition. The property in question is shown on the screen. It is a little bit difficult to see. You should each have a staff report for the subsequent rezoning application, which will be public hearing number 2 tonight. The vicinity map on the screen, you can see here about 92 acres. We have road frontage both on Tippett Road Veronica, can you scroll back a page for me?
There you go.
There we go. I'm trying to get my laser pointer to work. Okay, road frontage on Tippett Road here and Roy Adams Road here. I know it's very difficult to see on the projector screen. The two red stars are the large parcels in question tonight. Did want to make the board aware that the rezoning application will proceed whether or not the annexation is approved. It's already in Andrew's planning jurisdiction. We typically put the annexation petition first because in order to make the development work, they have to have access to town water and sewer, which requires annexation. Now, before we get into the rezoning, we do need to hold a separate public hearing for the annexation. Does the board have any questions for staff before we open that hearing?
Nope.
Any questions? All right, open the public hearing. Would anyone present like to comment on the this particular annexation?
I got a question.
Okay, if you'll come forward and state your name and address, please.
Alan Hester, 354 Tippett Road. His property adjacent to two sides of me on Tippett Road. My question is you're saying there's going to be sewer there also? What happened to when on Roy Adams Road when your sewer system wouldn't handle it? Did y'all upgrade the sewer system?
I'm not aware of a capacity issue.
Before, right up Roy Adams Road, right beside Roy Adams, where y'all putting in stuff here, we tried a few years back. They tried to purchase this land for high in density, and y'all turned it down.
I do remember a multifamily development turned down in the corner of Tippett.
Yeah,
Yes.
and the reason was because the sewer system.
I don't remember that being the reason.
I don't remember that being the reason I was there.
You're saying the sewer system can handle this kind of.
The development now says the development will be required to prove that their system, that our system will handle.
Are you planning on moving the city limits out
To surround these 92 acres, yes, sir. If approved.
if approved? Now, so where would that proposal be on Tippett Road?
So the developer will.
Since I'm right beside it, I've got a real concern on exactly where this city limits is going.
Around the boundaries of Mr. Roger Dupree's land only.
Oh, just around his land and nothing else involved around it?
Can you move the slides up one to show this, please? One more. There. That's the drawing of the subdivision, and all of that is on Mr. Dupree's land.
Okay.
If you go back to the previous slide, you can get a better picture of what they're doing.
That's Tippett Road up here.
Yes.
All right, that means I'm to the left of him and just behind him. It's confusing because it shows two ponds. Where is those ponds?
One of them is
Back one
existing.
slide,
Yeah, one's existing.
right there. Get the other one. Take the next slide. You see where you are?
Yeah, I see up here where I'm at.
That's right.
I was unaware of the sewer system being able to handle that kind of stuff since it was defeated a few years back because of Tippett Road.
We're in the process of upgrading the sewer system even now to handle all the extra loads. Sean, anything else? Okay. Any further comment from those in the audience? This is just to annex the property into the town of Anger.
I do, but I don't know if it has to do with the annexation.
Well, come on up. We'll see. Your name and address, please.
Anna Saylor on 204 Blair Drive, and I just have comments about all of the development because all I see are trees being cut down, and people complain about climate change, but you keep cutting down all the trees. And to me, I don't see any regional planning going on. I just see people deciding that they're just going to put this here and there and do whatever they want and just destroy everything. I mean, there's too many people now. It's very crowded here. The traffic is awful. The services are not here. I don't understand why you're going to put, and everything that's going on 210 is awful. I mean, all this development, and every time I drive around, they've cut down more trees, so I just don't see how all of this is going to fit in. I mean, Andrew is just not Andrew anymore.
Thank you for your comments. Any further comment about the annexation? If not, are there any comments or questions from the board?
Not from us.
Okay. I'll then close the public hearing on the annexation. Any further discussion by the board, or if you have board members, you have questions for the staff? Is there a motion concerning the annexation of this property into the town of Andrew?
I make a motion that we accept the voluntary annexation petition from Roger Howard Dupree
Okay, and that's of
for the 91.85
91.85 acres. Okay. Further discussion by the board? If not, all in favor of the motion, please raise your right hand. Okay, it's unanimous. All right. So the corporate limits of Andrew have been extended. Now, there's a conditional rezoning request. Sean, if you would address that.
Yes, sir. I'll direct the board to not only the staff report, but there's an 11 by 17 copy of the proposed subdivision plan before you that we'll discuss a little bit more in detail here. Scroll down, please. Here we go. Okay, on the left side of the screen here, you'll see a snippet from our Town of Andrews zoning map. For reference, there is Tippett Road here. There's Roy Adams Road coming south from that here. And the properties in question that were just approved for annexation are these two red star parcels. The dark yellow color on the map, that is the town's RA30 zoning district. And the requested zoning district tonight is our conditional R6 district. What that means here is you can see in the table on the right-hand side of your screen a comparison between the current zoning district RA30 and CZR6 proposed. The applicant has proposed solely single-family and townhome residential units only in their R6 district. You can see how that compares to the current zoning of RA30 here. The main difference being the minimum lot size is substantially reduced from 30,000 down to 6,000 square feet. Physical characteristics. Here's an aerial photo from last year. You can see the two farm parcels as well as some agricultural uses. The property is roughly 92 acres currently farmed. It does include 2 ponds and some wooded areas. Services available, like we mentioned during the annexation. We do have Town of Andrew water and sewer adjacent to Roy Adams Road, which the developer will be responsible for extending to serve this development if approved. This is a snippet of the proposed subdivision plan. You can see that they are going to be developed with multiple entrances. We have 2 down here on Roy Adams Road, 1 main entrance up on Tippett Road. The 2 cannot connect due to environmental concerns, mainly wetlands in this green area here to be preserved in open space. If you check out that 11 by 17 copy, board members, you'll see some more details about the lots proposed and the open space proposed. a couple factors that I'll point out to you. Number one, 32.9% total open space. Out of 92 acres, almost 30 acres permanently preserved. One huge thing to point out. Number two, 271 total lots proposed, 19 of which are townhome lots. That is the maximum allowed in R6 before triggering the special use permit. So 19 of the 271 are townhome lots. There are 3 varying sizes of single-family lots. Off in the legend to the right side of that page, you can see they're color-coded, yellow, red, and blue. The blue lots here represented on the map are the lots over 10,000 square feet. In working with the applicant, we positioned those 10,000 square foot lots nearest the Clearfield subdivision, which is currently zoned R10. So that's a thought process behind that. There are various open space amenity areas throughout, which I'll allow the applicant to talk a little bit more about. Did want to direct the board's attention to a separate conditions sheet, which, as we know, are very important when we consider conditional rezoning districts. There is a separate sheet. It's front and back, 13 total conditions listed on there. All of these conditions were discussed between the staff and the applicant, and again at that planning board meeting a few weeks ago in June. I'm going to read through them once to make sure they're in the record, and then the board can ask questions between staff and the applicant if they'd like to see additional conditions placed. Number one, the parcels in question shall only be developed with single-family and townhome residential lots. Number two, the following uses shall be prohibited: boarding/rooming houses, family care homes, multifamily residential apartments, multifamily residential condominiums, office and service uses, and retail uses. Number three, there shall be no more than 271 total lots on the parcel in question. In the case of a reduction in the total lot count based on unforeseen design constraints, the planning director may approve minor adjustments to the proposed plan. Number four, there should be no more than 19 lots developed for townhomes. Number five, at least 28 lots shall be greater than 10,000 square feet, and all lots directly adjacent to the Clearfield subdivision shall be at least 10,000 square feet. Number six, the minimum building setback shall be as required in the R6 district. That's the 5-foot side setbacks. Number seven, there should be a minimum of 25 acres of total open space preserved in the subdivision, of which a minimum of 5 acres shall be active recreational open space. Open space shall be developed in accordance with Chapter 6 of the ordinance. Number eight, there shall be a 10-foot Type C landscape buffer installed along Roy Adams Road and Tippett Road. Number nine, there should be a 15-foot Type A landscape buffer installed along the rear of the proposed townhome lots, which are these dark red lots on the southern border of the proposed subdivision plan right here. Number 10, there should be curb, gutter, and 5-foot sidewalk installed throughout the proposed subdivision on both sides of each proposed street and along the road frontages of Tippett Road and Roy Adams Road, which stub to each adjacent property line. And for roadway improvements on the back page, number 11, there shall be an eastbound right turn lane installed on Tippett Road at the intersection of Tippett Road and South Raleigh Street, Highway 55. It should have 100 feet of storage and appropriate deceleration and taper length, and should be constructed to DOT standards. Number 12, there should be a left turn lane installed on Tippett Road at the intersection of Tippett and Roy Adams Road. Number 13, there should be a left turn lane installed on Tippett Road which serves the proposed development entrance, known as Site Access 1, on the Tippett Road entrance right here. All of these, of course, are designed to DOT standards. Does the board have any questions about these 13 conditions?
Sean, would you highlight the difference between townhomes and apartments?
The main difference is townhomes are on individual parcels to be individually sold, just like single-family homes.
And owned, whereas an apartment is rented.
All on one parcel, several units. Yes, sir.
Sean, can you give me the total again of the total again of green space was 30?
32.9%.
32.9%.
Which is more than the 25 acres.
Well, obviously, a lot of that, from what I am seeing too, from the best image that I could get of that was up there before, it looks as if the majority of all development is being done in what is open fields already. So I'm just going back to what I heard from someone about destroying the trees and things. I see fields at this moment, and it seems to me that the green space has been contained within this plan pretty much, from what I'm seeing. And so I'm hearing what you said and processing that for me. But if I were to overlay the aerial shot, it looks as though what they have as green space now is a lot of green space that was already there. I want to ask, I've got a couple of questions actually, so it'll probably be for the developers and things of that nature that'll come up later. Why have you requested a 10-foot landscape buffer along Roy Adams Road? Why have you required a 15-foot only in the section of the townhomes?
That's the ordinance's minimum buffering requirement.
So it won't stretch all the way across. It's only going to be behind those townhomes?
That's what's required. The board could certainly place an additional condition.
Okay. Just seemed a little odd to me that we're going to jump to 15 feet behind townhomes, and why that difference occurs in that buffering across the backside. And the assumption is then when you say, I've got to look again. What's on the bottom side of this? The adjoining properties there?
There is a previously approved development just south along the southern border called Myrtle Manor, which will tie into Roy Adams Road.
Okay. I'm just questioning it. So are we requiring a buffer behind those people's homes there for future development? If I were to buy a home, I would want a buffer behind me and that next development. Is that something that's proposed here or not?
There are townhomes in Myrtle Manor, they will have the buffer. Where there are single-family homes in Myrtle Manor, I'm not sure if there's a buffer or not, because it is also a mixed-use development.
Right. But there are no existing homes sitting along that backside right now.
Correct.
Yet we do have them in the upper left-hand corner. Yes.
Adjacent all along the right side, the bottom and vertical.
So,
There's existing Clearfield subdivision.
Yeah.
so I guess my question is, are we between these private homes up there in the left-hand corner, are we requiring any buffer to those people who are currently are those homes along there? I'm asking many questions. I am so sorry that I'm drifting. The upper left-hand corner, those homes that exist, are they all R30 homes at this moment?
The ones outside of
upper
city
left
limits up here.
Yes.
Those are I-30, I believe.
I think they are too. I just want to clarify for myself. Those are the R30s. And then the subdivisions are R15 over here to the right of it.
Clearfield's R10.
Clearfield, R10, sorry. So I guess I'm asking, with those private homes up there in the R30 area, are we, I know that everyone would hate to see their trees totally cut down into someone's backyard. So I'm asking, is there a plan for a buffer to those existing lots in that upper left-hand corner? Now say, if I'm the person sitting right behind those townhomes, are you going to clear the trees right into my land? So I'm asking about a buffer for those existing homes that are already there. Is that part of the plan at this moment? question is, anytime, we've done this in the past, where there were adjacent homes already, we did require a minimal buffer, or, and that could be the fact that you don't cut down
Right.
10 feet of trees.
Right.
That's your buffer.
Sure.
So I know we've done that a couple of times, and I'm thinking of myself being a current landowner, that I would like to keep some of my privacy, with that. So that's my point that I'm throwing out right there.
Sean, how would you do what Commissioner Coates is talking about? Whether someone's property, if their property sets on the line, for example, you're going to take away from them. Because if you start coming back this way up over the R10s, are you going to shorten the size of the lots?
Good point. So what you would do in that scenario is you would have a buffer easement placed on the back of those lots that has to be permanently preserved. In other words, you couldn't tear it down once you bought the house there.
Yeah, because I know we did that over on the Wilmer Street with that new development over there.
Right.
Those were Crest of Camille homes, I think, sitting, and then a brick home sitting adjacent to that property,
right.
requiring them to put a buffer in there for those private residences. I understand if people choose to live back to back in the center of this development, that's something they chose to do. But these people with existing homes did not choose for that to be the case.
Right.
So I'm just proposing something there.
And let me point out that it is, of course, up to the board to add additional restrictions, and I think that should be done, in conversation with the developer.
That's correct. Yes, sir.
Alan, Gordon, somebody help me here. I'm not doing the math. The Bone House. Starting there, does this property go behind that, behind yours over? Is that where it goes?
Could you back up, Sean, for a moment to that aerial shot that was showing what was there, so we can see that again? I would like to see. Yes, thank you. That, and I'm gonna have to get up there because I don't think you can zoom in on that. With my glasses. Oh, you can. All right.
So can I say something? In this picture here, that pond that's on Roy Adams at the top, that pond is no longer there, and that is townhomes and single-family homes going in. Right there. Roy Adams is one road, one way in and one way out. It's currently dead end. You're down, you're dead end into this new neighborhood. And I know there's another one coming. But try to get out on Tippett Road on the 55 and 210 at 7 o'clock in the morning and take your kids to school.
But up here in this upper left-hand corner, Sean, those are three. How many homes are sitting on those three tracks? Is that multi-tracks right there?
Is that the Bones house right there?
So yes, there again is a property that I
What's the code, what you talking about?
the one up there on the right-hand corner, that's what I'm talking about when I say a home that's already existing there, giving some kind of buffer between that existing home and the land that is being built. Can you back up then again to the other photo? I am so sorry, guys, but I really need to know more about this. The proposed layout of the development again. So right up there in that corner is a home currently.
If you come down, please.
Yes, that up there. That's where I'm saying those people need, some buffering to go in there. I don't know whether it's possible already on these lots as proposed to do that. I don't know. That would be a developer question, but I feel that existing homes.
Aren't we talking about to the left of that, in that L-shaped thing? Relocate us, Sean, as to where we're discussing.
Yeah, because the house we were just discussing, I believe, is right here.
Oh, okay.
And yet again, we have them over here
Both sides now.
in these lots. That's why.
Sean, why-
It's like the road is cutting right up to it, so there's not any room for any buffer. I don't know.
There's a whole lot more houses that.
All those down there is Clearfield subdivision.
All in here, yes.
Below there.
That's right.
Look at all of those lots up against the existing.
Right here.
And so right now.
So are there, did they leave any buffer to these, with these homes that are currently in here, against the back of these, is there any?
Not the way the conditions are proposed, no. You
But
would
I
need
guess
to.
in the existing buildings that are there, did they clear the land directly up to the land line?
On portions of these properties, it is cleared all the way to the property. Yeah.
Well, they're butting a home up against another home when that was not the idea or the plan. What I'm saying for myself, if I chose to buy one of these houses in here that butts right up against the next one, I know what they'll do. They're all going to go in there and put up privacy fences because to sit on your back porch, you're going to be looking at your neighbor's back porch. I'm trying to think about the pleasing factors of how to make these the best that they can possibly be. And then that's not me, but I don't think when anybody bought these, no, we never thought, you eventually there would be something. But again, if I chose to buy that and I knew that that was what I was buying, but if I bought these along here and suddenly you cleared the land right up to the back of me, I have a little bit of problem with that. That's it.
Sean, up there to the right where the property is, what he was just talking about, right there, why are those smaller lots when, what's the property that is buttoned up is a larger lot, correct? Yeah, right in there, yeah.
That's an existing RA30 lot with a house on it.
Okay, what about, why is the lots in yellow there smaller and the ones down at the bottom are going to be larger, if that's going to be to match what the existing,
You're saying you'd like to see a 10,000 up there too?
yeah.
Okay.
I see these are big lots over here. Why should we make them small here? If we're making them all down here, and that's being big lot there. Same way with up in here. Because in the L there, also to the left there, is going to be a R10 better right.
Sitting at one, I can't read.
Sean, do we need to hear from the applicant to see if what could be done?
To agree to conditions, yes, sir. I can help the wording of it once you hear from the developer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would the developer come forward and discuss the issues that have been raised, please?
Good evening. I have a quick presentation, but I'm happy just to answer questions.
If you-
However you all want to do this.
If
is fine.
first you'll state your
Sure,
name and
absolutely.
address,
My name
yes.
is Cindy Schwarzkopf, and I'm with DRB Homes, and our address is 3000 RDU Center Drive in Morrisville.
Okay.
And again, Sean, if I could just do my quick presentation, or I'm happy to, I can tell you right off the bat, we're happy. We will do the 10,000 square foot lots adjacent up in, if you don't mind me walking.
Sure.
Up, just get close there and all that.
Go, girl.
We will be happy to do the 10,000 square foot lots in the upper right-hand side for lack of a better for terms. And then we'd also be happy to put a privacy fence adjacent to the other properties so that there would be a buffer between the homes that we're proposing and existing homes.
Well, you're off to a good start.
Okay.
So, but I say, I say we hear her presentation
Okay,
before we
yes.
ask questions
I
that
agree.
may be answered in that
It's a
presentation.
PDF.
Okay.
Flash drive.
Okay, great. Again, my name is Cindy Schwarzkopf with DRB Homes. Happy to be here with you all this evening, following up on our planning board meeting from June. Really want to thank Sean and staff for all their help and guidance as we've gone through this journey the past couple months. With me tonight, we have Robbie Bell, who is our design engineer from B&K, and I also have Caroline Cheeves, who is our traffic engineer from Amy Kemp, and Jay Colvin with DRB Homes as well. Sean did a great job talking through our site plan, but just to, Dan, do you mind if I just walk up and talk?
Please
to you? It
do.
might be easier for y'all to this.
Sean, could you move to the side? Thank you. Yes.
There was previously 271 lots, will probably come down a little bit when we change from the yellow to more more of a blue in that area. Thank you, sorry. But we've been very thoughtful and purposeful in doing this layout. There is quite a bit of green open space with wetlands and streams that we are protecting. That's one of the reasons why we have such a large area of open space as well, is that we've been very thoughtful and wanted to make sure that we maintained that green space. Because the area that's developable has already been cleared. It's a sod farm, so we wanted to be able to retain the trees and the open space. We've also been very thoughtful in how we laid things out. We want this to be a neighborhood that can be for all types of people, all levels in their life. Everyone from a first-time home buyer to that family that's having children that loves the neighborhood and wants to be able to move to a little bit larger home, to executives, to empty nesters. So that's why we've been really purposeful with adding in townhomes and then 3 different sizes of lots to accommodate different types and styles of single-family homes. We're also doing active open space for having tot lots and dog parks. And then one of the things that I really like about the neighborhood, the way that our designers have done it, is that we're working to connect both of the neighborhoods through walking trails between the two so that you can access the top park on the southern part or the one on the northern part. And throughout the neighborhood with our sidewalks and our walking trails, it's almost 6 miles of walking. So I'm like, gosh, you can almost run 10K in the neighborhood. So I don't know, I just think that's really something neat and something special for this neighborhood. And then just coming back over, you can see in the blue, we are preserving the 2 existing ponds, and then the other blue is also areas where we will have to have additional stormwater control measures. The density that we're proposing is consistent with the future land use map for the medium density residential. And we had talked about the landscape buffers along Roy Adams Road, Tippett. And then where the red on the bottom for the townhomes, we were really purposeful in where we cited those because we were putting townhomes against townhomes. So we were being thoughtful for the layout for that. Next slide, please. And then again, just a little bit more on what we're thinking for the open space. We are providing nearly 30 acres of open space, and the photos on here are representative of what we would envision for the tot lots and the dog parks and the different play elements that you would have in a dog park as well as in the tot lot. As Sean said, we had agreed to all of the conditions that were put forth by staff and talked with the planning board about that. We also had a TIA prepared by Caroline and Ramey Kemp, and we agreed with all of the requirements for the turn lanes. But I would like Caroline to come up whenever you all are ready, just to kind of talk about the traffic and the roadway improvements.
Would you explain to the group here what a TIA is, please?
A traffic impact assessment. So looking at the existing roadway network, proposed traffic, what would happen if this project was done, this project wasn't done, and what the implications are.
What's your first name again?
Cindy.
Cindy, are y'all doing the one on Tippett as we speak?
Cotswold.
You are?
Mm-hmm.
Are y'all pre-selling those?
We are in sales, have not opened for sales yet.
Shall we hear from, I guess, shall we move on to listening to the
Would you like to have my
traffic
engineer go?
person
Caroline,
speak?
you
I mean,
just-
we're holding questions, I know, until we get the full package.
Her slide's next, please.
Hello, my name is Caroline Cheeves. I'm a professional engineer in the state of North Carolina, and I work at Ramey Kemp Associates. Our address is 5808 Barrington Place in Raleigh. I prepared this traffic impact analysis through consultation with the town staff, Sean, and through consultation with the NCDOT. It has been reviewed and approved by Sean, and all of our assumptions in the traffic impact analysis were in coordination with the town and the NCDOT and reviewed and approved before we submitted it. And I just wanted to, it's a little hard to conceptualize all of these new roads that are coming in. And I know that Roy Adams currently is a dead-end road, but in the future, and that's what we do with traffic impact analysis, is we try and look at the future. So we study the 2029 build-out. This development is expected to be constructed and fully occupied in 2029, which means that all of this traffic associated with the homes will not be out there tomorrow. If this development gets approved tonight, it's not like all of these homes are all of a sudden gonna show up and become occupied, and the traffic's going to be on the road. It will take time to build out, and during that time, while it's being built out, the NC 55 bypass will be constructed. It's currently on track to be constructed in 2023, so next year. There's a little bit of grace time where our build out is 2029. If that, for whatever reason, there are delays with the NC 55 bypass, it is still.
And that's the green road that you're showing.
Yes.
That's the bypass.
Yes. So on this diagram here, you can see that big green road on the right of the screen is the NC 55 bypass, and the big blue road is Roy Adams Road. So Roy Adams will connect directly to the NC 55 bypass, which is expected to relieve traffic at 210 and 50 in the old, or I guess 55 in the future. So Tippett Road will, we're expected to relieve traffic, but we are still going to provide turn lanes. So there will be a right turn lane from Tippett Road onto NC 55. That this development will be providing, and we will also be providing left turn lanes from Tippett Road onto Roy Adams Road and also into our site driveway.
Is there going to be stop-loss or something? I mean, the lanes are set to help us get in and out of the traffic. It just creates now more people turning in a turn lane that now you have to see people going straight past them.
So traffic signals, they need to be warranted by NCDOT. They have very specific volume warrants, because what NCDOT doesn't want is for a traffic signal to only need to be needed during 1 hour of the day, and then it would impede the traffic during the rest of the day, so during those off-peak hours. So what we studied, we took a look, we have to follow NCDOT standards, and with this additional turn lane, we are showing that the level of service of the intersection will be acceptable. Without the turn lane, it would not be acceptable per NCDOT, so we're mitigating our state's traffic. And traffic signals, because it's mainly a residential area, you'd really only see those peak hours of potentially meeting those warrants. So it's not likely that this would meet those. NCDOT wants a traffic signal to be sustained for 8 hours.
If I may, we
we need to allow her to make her presentation.
There'll be a public comment period where people can make public comments following the presentation.
Well, I'll just go ahead and explain a little bit more about the traffic study. What we do is we collect existing traffic counts, and then what we do is we try and grow that up to 2029. So we take into account any future roadway improvements, and we take into account any future developments that are coming in, and we'll add that traffic into our development, and we'll also take that existing traffic and we'll grow it at a background growth rate, just like your bank account. It's a compound yearly growth rate. And then we'll add our development traffic and try and figure out what our impact is and how we can mitigate it and make recommendations based on that. And I'm available to answer any questions. I can go into more detail and bore you more about the traffic study or answer any more questions.
Any questions from the board?
Well, I don't know if you don't want to answer, but maybe y'all will come together. My concern is, if I lived where they lived, I know why they're here. Everyone knows. And we feel for them. My biggest thing is nobody expected Roger Dupree to sell watermelons and sweet potatoes for the rest of his life. I mean, come on. He's getting some age on him, whatever. Once he sells the land, he's out of it. It goes to y'all then. My concern is I want someone to tell me who in your office has sat down and studied. At one time in my life, I don't even know if there was a house in Angel worth $400,000. The houses you're selling over there off Tippett Road starting at $400,000. Who could tell me y'all done a survey and studied the people's going to come buy these houses on the ones you're starting now and then the ones that you hope we vote for tonight? I mean, this is not going to be just desert land sitting out there because the price of construction is going so high you can't afford to build on. People can't afford it. now everybody's life's disturbed, but we got empty lots sitting there. That's what worries me.
I suggest that Cindy may be in better position to answer that question.
Actually, I'm going to have Jay Colvin, who
Okay.
is our Director of Land Acquisition. He's better prepared to answer that question.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Jay Colvin, 4009 Periwinkle Blue Lane in Raleigh. I'm with Dan Ryan Builders. I'm the Director of our land acquisition efforts. Pricing, market dynamics, all that stuff obviously changes a lot. When we initially contracted for this property and started envisioning it, we envisioned it at a lower price point than what the market might tell us today. We're currently building in Neels Point on Cleveland. The prices of homes there have been much higher than we had originally anticipated as well. The area is experiencing a tremendous amount of growth. Andrew's seeing a big share of that right now. What you're seeing in a regional context is a lot of towns historically that might have been able to sustain or fulfill housing demand have gotten shorter and shorter supply on land. It's gotten more and more expensive to build there and live there. And so 15 years ago, probably wouldn't have seen very many homes sell for $400,000 in Andrew. Inflation and supply and demand factors, all that sort of thing, has driven the value of homes here up. And we believe that's going to sustain itself. We are active. We've seen rates go up significantly in the last 2.5, 3 months. And we've still seen very strong demand, and we've sold a lot of homes in Neels Point. We've had almost no cancellations. We've got waiting lists. We've got people coming and paying cash in some instances. So we see very, very strong demand. We would not be presenting this case here tonight and have invested what we've invested, or involved Mr. Dupree in this process if we weren't committed to it. And again, we think we love Andrew, right? I mean, we have enjoyed the experience. It's been a successful business operation for us, and we hope to continue to do that. And we're hoping that we continue to bring folks an appreciation and enjoyment of the town that we've come to know, and that obviously everybody here has enjoyed and are protective of, and we want to be good stewards of that. So I can't tell you the future, what's going to happen tomorrow or the next day, but I can tell you that our experience so far has been very strong and made us feel very good about continuing to invest in the area.
Well, y'all have a big footprint here in Andy, the reason I ask, because y'all doing one on 210 as well, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
I just wondered the kind of calls and feedback you're getting from customers. When are you going to have my house built? When are you planning on?
Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult to get a house built on time and on schedule and on budget. Everybody's dealing with it. This is the lasting effect of everybody turned the switch off for 6-9 months during 2020, and it's just it's getting the pig to the snake, right? I mean, it just takes a while to get through that. We are seeing some, beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel on some of the production delays, but we are a well-capitalized, larger builder. A little bit of headwinds is not going to derail us. You're not going to end up with a vacant, a daisy farm, right, where you've got streets and PVC farm like you saw in 2008, where we will continue to invest in the project. We would also, the way that we have done development, Neels Point, for example, we've developed a large share of that property because the initial demand was so rapid that we needed to get in front of it. You ordinarily would have seen that in a little bit more phased approach so that you didn't have a ton of land developed all at once. So we're still early on in this site to give you phasing lines and all that sort of thing. But,
okay, thank you.
Sure.
Haven't you already started building one of the homes over there at Neels Point?
Oh yeah, I think we have 65 homes under construction. We should be closing the first ones. I want to say we have one this month, but you'll see everything that's platted is sold and people chomping at the bit to move into their house. We're building as fast as we can.
Thank you.
I don't know whether this is a question for you or going back to Cindy. we have 3 different lot sizes here, but I'm just curious, what is the plan? I can still build a 2,000 square foot house on a 6 square foot lot. What is your plan for sizes of homes that you are building?
So part of the variation in lot size is one, us being very thoughtful about the subdivision to the north of us and surrounding. They're on larger lots. We wanted to make sure that we provided a similar use. If you looked at those blue lots, I want to say on average those are about 200 feet deep or more. So while we didn't offer a condition of a buffer or a fence, we sort of built in a natural private property buffer there, so that there was thought behind that. So your pink lots, orange, whatever color that is, those are a little bit narrower lots or a little bit narrower homes. Those are 1,600 to 2,000 square feet. Yellow lots are a little bit wider homes. They're 2,000 to 3,000 square feet, and then the blue lots are a little bit larger. They can be over 3,000 square feet. But you asked the question earlier: are we a pre-sale builder? Yes, we offer a lot of customization and choice on buyers. So if somebody really wanted to build one of those smaller homes on one of the bigger lots, we would consider that and give them that option. Generally, we're trying to have it step up in lifestyle and price point on the lot sizes.
On those 10 lots over here on the corner that's proposed to R6, if you bring them back up to R10, you're probably going to lose about 4 lots there, right?
So what I would propose is that we would only have the lots that are adjacent to that one property as 10,000 square feet and leave the other ones.
Let's go back to Cindy's plan.
Yeah, but the other thing that we had talked about was potentially putting a fence there as a buffer. I think the neighbors had called in and had some questions about that. That's another way for us. Those are actually, I don't know the lot sizes exactly off the top of my head. They are bigger than the legend would tell you on the yellow lot. It's just a sizing. It's not all the way to 10,000.
Mr. Cavage's proposal, those 10 lots up there on the top right-hand corner, you would want those R10s? Isn't this what you said, Cindy?
Yeah, I mean, if that is the pleasure of the board and that's what we need to do, we can revise the plan for that.
And the old saying is, and tell me if I'm wrong, but the difference between a subdivision like this, the difference between R6 and R10, the carport's going to be in front, R10 is going to be on the side.
No, I mean, when we move to the 10,000 square foot lots, it gives, like Jay was just explaining, the ability to have larger homes there, different facades, we have a multitude of different elevations and home styles. Could be front facing, could be side. It just depends on the lot. At this point, we're a little bit too early to be able to predetermine that, and then what the sellers would want, our buyers would want.
If I'm not mistaken, too, what that means is, and Sean, you can help out here with this, and I'm making up numbers, Sean, so you can fix them. With the R6, we can have a 5 foot side setback. Yep. Whereas with an R10, it has to be a 10-foot setback, right? I mean, the setback is different. So in doing a bigger lot, you can't build the homes as tight together for the monopoly board. You're allowing a little bit more breadth between those buildings. Is that not correct, Sean?
You would have to revise the conditions if that's your intent. Right now, it's 5 foot across the board because it is an R6 zoning.
So I can just build a bigger house on an R10 and still stick it up against the next one. Okay.
In theory, yeah.
Money. All right. That's what I was I thought there was a difference there, that by going to the R6, it cut the distance in two.
We were, as I said, very purposeful about putting the larger lots adjacent to the Clearfield subdivision, and I have heard the commissioners this evening wanting the larger lots adjacent to the existing homes. So we're happy to work with you for sure to convert those few lots, and we will obviously, yes, we'll lose a few lots, but If that's what the board wants to see in that area, then we'll make sure we can accommodate that.
Thank you, Cindy. May I go on with another question, or do you still have more to
Go
that,
ahead.
Junior? I see these pink areas that are designated as active open space, and you presented possible dog park, play area, which is very important for these people when you're living on top of one another, to have a place to go to and take your children or something and give them. I mean, I used to do building and development, so a nice playground doesn't cost a lot of money, and those things are important to these people coming into those areas. Now, I mean, it's hard for me. I see down. They're so small. Down in the lower right-hand corner, I see. It seems to be. It says, I think pink is active. Well, male kiosks are not active in my book. Is that what that is?
It's just labeled that because we will have some activity there, but anything that is in pink, we are proposing 2 dog parks, and 2 top lots, so that since it is kind of a separated neighborhood, we wanted to make sure that both areas did
Got some.
have those type of amenities. And again, as I was talking earlier, making sure that we have that connectivity between the two with the walking paths. Again, like you were saying, you want to make sure that you have a place to go outside, to enjoy nature, to be outside where your home is. That's why we wanted to have like the walking trails around the pond, the walking trails connecting, and also someone that lives in the southern portion might like the top lot in the northern portion, or their friends live there. So being able to enjoy the amenities from the entirety of the neighborhood.
I mean, I'm fully aware that this is a choice of lifestyle and living. Yes, I grew up in Ancher in a big lot in all my neighborhood, and I understand that those days are not here right now, and it's very different. With the what was I going to say about the green space? We've talked about that. And I don't know whether will this be an HOA community?
100%.
Okay, well, because I'm finding now that it doesn't have to be, because part of the maintenance of these areas, we could build that many homes in there and nobody in charge of what they look like and how they're kept. You could have a junkyard really fast, and that's not these ideal communities to do this. So I'm just questioning. That means that it can be governed and taken care of by an HOA. I'm going to ask you a personal question because I'm curious, and you don't have to answer me and say, well, it's a money issue. In these large communities like this, why do you shy away from any kind of, and I don't mean anything big and fancy, but why do you shy away from a clubhouse, a community room for these people? Dan, you may look at me and say, Alan, you can't ask these questions. I'm just curious. I'm just curious as to why, because part of the reasons for me to go to these communities is to have those kind of small amenities, and I know it eats up one of your lots, and you have to pay for the building. I'm just curious.
Truthfully, types of community centers don't always get a lot of use.
Mm-hmm.
It's a grand building, and it looks nice on the outside, but people don't typically use it. We end up seeing that the outdoor space, the walking trails, the playgrounds, the dog parks are the things that are used more by our homeowners.
Because I know it drives up the HOA price because it has to be maintained by the HOA, but I'm getting variances here. Please, everybody indulge me. I just like to ask questions and know what is coming our way. And if I don't ask these people these questions, I won't know what's coming in the future.
Any other questions for Cindy or the developer?
Cindy, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I don't have plans in front of me. I'll probably be on it anyway. Sean, do you know how wide the streets are going to be in the subdivision?
29 feet back of curb to curb.
29
Robbie?
29 feet from the back of each
Curb.
Roadway.
Well, I know we're going to be talking about it later on.
Right, yeah, and
The ordinances.
as part of it, we'll absolutely be compliant. We're not asking for any variances or anything from the street sections, and we'll also have 5-foot sidewalks on each side of the
My
roadway.
concern, what I'm getting at is, I know we're going to be dealing with it later on tonight, but cars parking on the street from fire and emergency equipment having to get in there. That's the reason I want to know that we have to make sure we got room for a fire truck.
Well, and as we go through our preliminary plans and CDs with Sean, we'll be vetting all of that information and making sure that we have the appropriate roadway widths, and if we need to do any prohibitions for parking on a certain side of a street because there would be concern for emergency services, we'll be able to deal with that during those plan reviews.
Sean, that is why we pay you the big bucks, right?
That's right. Okay. Any further questions from Cindy? We'll get out
And I'm
two
happy
questions
to come
from
back
the
up and answer
audience.
any questions later.
Okay, you might stand by. There might be some questions from those in attendance. Okay, if there are comments or questions from those in attendance, please come forward and use the microphone and give your name and address, please.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. My name is T.J. Lynch. I live at 40 Fairfield Court.
Could you use the mic,
microphone.
TJ?
Yeah, I
There
live
you
at
go.
40 Fairfield Court in Angier, which is adjacent to this neighborhood. I live in the Clearfield subdivision. Is it on? Can you guys hear me? okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And I'm here tonight to speak out in opposition of the rezoning request. If you guys want to annex them, that's on you all and the property owner. I don't have a problem with that. But the rezoning, I do. The rezoning request, to me, I think it doesn't fit. This is the first that we've seen the postage stamp lots that isn't before us. This didn't go out in the advertisement, or this room would be a lot fuller than it is tonight. I guarantee you, if people in our neighborhood would have seen what's proposed, there would be a full house here tonight. And I live just above the larger marked lots there, which still are so skinny that people will probably be able to reach out their side windows and shake each other's hands when their houses are so tight together. And also the elevation of that land there is slightly higher than the elevation of the land in our neighborhoods. They're going to be looking down on us at the same time. So it's a bit daunting. And to be honest with you, I really am kind of stunned when I saw that plan. And the reason I'm here tonight, I mean, just tell you a little bit about me. I've not lived in Angier as long as you all have. But I've been here for 30 years. Been a part of the community. I've coached football teams and basketball teams with Derek, and I've just raised a family here. And we've always lived in that particular house. We've been there for a long time, and I've always had the benefit of having this very large open space right directly behind my house that created all kinds of privacy. And every year I would look at that and say, I know someday there's going to be houses there, but we'll just enjoy it while we can. And so when we saw the surveyors, we knew it was coming, and we started hearing rumors. And then when we got the letter at home about the annexation or the rezoning request, it really disturbed me, because I think our neighborhood, when I bought my house, it was zoned R30. At some point, it got changed to R10, because I don't think there's a single lot in Clearfield that's less than 3/4 of an acre, because they all have septic tanks. They were all on septic, so they were all R30. And so at some point after we got annexed, and it wasn't voluntary. We were forcibly annexed because it was before the North Carolina law changed. That changed. But so even saying that those particular lots are 10,000 square feet, they don't compare in size to those in the Clearfield. It's still not a matchup in any way, shape, or form if that's the intent. But I will say, before I go any further into detail, I would just want to say thank you for the service that you all provide. I'm a 30-year. I just retired from municipal service. I served City of Raleigh folks for 30 years. So I understand what it's like to be in public service and how difficult it can be. So thanks for what you all are doing. But I was looking at the land use plan, the comprehensive land use plan that the town of Angier put together in, I think, 2017. I think was the date on that plan. And then it looks like the map has been updated over time since to 2021 was the most recent date. And this property has always been in the ETJ, but it was shown as an R10. It's always been an R10, and I guess that's why we're here tonight, because that's being proposed to be changed. My request of you all would be to think about this in terms of your backyard, and I appreciate the questions that you all have asked tonight. I think you've asked some very good questions, as if they were going to be your neighbor, but they are going to be my neighbor. And they're going to be a lot of the neighbors of a lot of the people in here. And I think that we would be we would be much more amenable to that neighborhood going in at the same zone, at the same zoning as we are, like Windsor is, which is also adjacent there. We're all R10. You know, when you reduce the from an R10 to an R6, the intent there, if you're not, to me, in the downtown area, I mean, where you're in walking distance of cities or of services and restaurants and you know, grocery stores, then your only intent there is to make a profit. This is all about profit, not about quality of life. They're going to come in here, they're going to make as much money as they can building all these subdivisions that they're doing. They're going to be gone. They're not going to have to deal with the aftermath of this, but you all are, and we are. So I think we ought to be thoughtful and make sure we do this the right way. That isn't the right way.
I have a question. What's your name?
Sorry?
What's your name?
My name's TJ Lynch.
TJ, I got a question for you. Maybe discuss with everybody else that's coming up and anybody else. I hear you. We hear you. If I lived over there, I'd be feeling the same, maybe. I just want to ask you a question. What do we tell the 270-some people that wants to come enjoy Andrew like you have for the last 30 years? What do we tell those people?
Wait your turn until a house is built on a. That's, you know, that's the beauty of Angier, is that, you know, we think about this as kind of country living, right? I mean, it's kind of, we're not in the city. This is kind of country living in Angier, and that's kind of, I think, what we enjoy in Harnett County, and I think that's what people expect in Harnett County.
Right.
I don't think these things are going to sell like they think they are, especially if the price point is over $400,000. I don't see them, and I, you know, I could be a conspiracy theorist like a lot of other people, but I think that we're about to see a housing market crash. It's coming real soon, I believe. So I appreciate you know, that they're thinking positive and all of that stuff, but I think that with the number of houses that Andrew's about to have on the market, I think these postage stamps is not going to go. It's too concentrated. That doesn't even, I'm not even talking about any traffic issues. Traffic, other people talk about traffic.
Okay. All right. Someone else like to comment?
My name is Gordon Springle. I live at 540 Tippett Road. I'm representing Donna and myself. We live in the house that top to the right of the, right on Tippett Road. And I appreciate you talking about the size lots, because that's what we were suggesting, the lot be a little bit larger. I wonder how you would feel. Got a $500,000 house sitting next to a lot that's half the size of our lot. And I think, like Alan was talking about, putting some type of berm or a barrier along all that whole area, particularly where houses are located, is something that you need to suggest. Just like this young man just talked about a while ago, houses in Clearfield are R30. You can rate them R10 all you want to, but there's not a lot in there of less than 30,000 square feet. And here you're going to put these houses right up against it that are smaller than that. I'm not sure you're aware of this or not, but I talked to some of the people at the fire department. When they have a fire in a 6,000 square foot lot, their main priority is not the house that's on fire, it's the houses next to it. I don't know if you're aware of that or not. You got to keep the fire from spreading, not put out the fire that's on that. And at least if you go over to the road, the project out on Clifton Springs Road, at Neil's Crossing, you can stand in the middle of the lot and almost touch both sides of both houses, and you're going to have a fire department trying to get in there to put those fires out? Come on. That's incredible. I think that we need to look at public utilities. You know, when they started doing the project over on Tippett Road, whatever the name of that project is, it's right next to Roy Road. You know, actually, I was at a meeting here, and the guy actually stood up and said it would be no adverse effect of the traffic on the road. Come on now. And you're talking about doing the same thing here, and then we're talking about in 2029, if decide to put the bypass in, if there ever gets in, then you're gonna be able to continue down and have another access to get out of the subdivision. And right now, you got one road and one entrance and one exit. And then you're gonna put houses from the other side, from the other development, onto Roy Road, on the Tippett Road. And it's not gonna have an effect on traffic. I just find it very difficult to believe. I don't know if you all understand this, but, and I'm sure you do, anytime you build these subdivisions, that you're approving all these subdivisions, and you're not providing any amenities, no stores, these people are going someplace else to buy their goods. That's tax dollars that are going sales tax dollars going someplace else. Hope you understand that. Not only are the town losing, but the county's losing it. And I used to be a part of the county, and I hope you are too. I think that we need to look at the buffering. I think that's going to be a key to provide, at least have some little bit of privacy from one side to the other, and I hope that you will consider that. I hope that you will consider tabling this thing until you get some answers from the developer. And I hope that you have every one of you have looked on the website on Better Business Bureau and look at the quality of homes these people are building and see what the rating is. So I'm requesting that the town, I know you're gonna rezone the area. It's already been rezoned. I know you're gonna develop it at some point in time. I understand all that too. That's not anything I can do about it. But if you're going to do anything that's going to help everybody, at least let it look like it's going to be worthwhile for the people that are around there. And this Clearfield subdivision has been there since 1986. Since 1986. And we're going to do something different around them. I don't begrudge Roger selling the property. If I was him, I'd sell it too at the price they're offering. And I don't blame him not one bit. It's his property. He can do what he wants to with it. But I'm opposed to the subdivision that they're trying to build now. Thank you.
Thank you, Gordon. Other comments?
Gordon, I got a question for you, Gordon. You've served this town and this county all your life, and it goes without speaking. I did read here. There's one question on here that I want to ask. Given the robust growth occurring close to my residence, I am interested to understand how the town has been preparing to service all pending and recently approved high-density compact developments with water and sewer services. Besides you telling us, Sean, that they'll get back with us on that, what is Jimmy or whoever, what has the town done to make sure that we can sustain this?
Well, when it comes to the sewer capacity, we have spoken to Harnett County, and they are going to double the size of their sewer plant, and they're proactive on that currently. So the town, Anger, Lilyton, and Fuquay are all going to buy into that capacity. So they're in the design stages now.
And we've already sent a letter requesting that.
That's correct.
Plus set aside some funds to do that.
That's what you're doing, is you're adding more homes, and you're going to provide the water and the water pressure. It's not going to affect the water pressure on any of these houses along Tippett Road after you've done the other subdivision, and you won't build this one.
We are building a new elevated tank, yes. Board, Gordon's wife, Donna Springle, offered a letter that suggests, well, Gordon signed it too. I recommend we place this in the record without objection. Okay. Madam Clerk, if you'll enter that into the record. Okay. Yes, ma'am. And your name and address, please.
My name is Carrie Slackwood, 286 Clearfield Drive.
And I just want to clarify before we start, this is public comment, not public questions, so this is comments to the board. The board is the one that asked the questions of the developer.
But, everybody has mentioned about the schools and the housing, or the traffic and the housing buffers and all that, but I have children that are still school age, and I want to know how all these subdivisions of this capacity going in all over Anger and all the way down 210 towards Lillington, where's the schools for all of our kids to go to? I mean, they're building Top Park, so they anticipate people having children that are living here. My daughter's going into 6th grade this year, and I've already been told she's not even gonna be inside of a schoolhouse. She's gonna be outside in a trailer. So, where are all these kids supposed to, where's the resources for that? Then as far as the traffic with the only having turn lanes, I don't understand, I still don't see how we're supposed to get in and out of our subdivision and out onto the highways before 2029 when the bypass is put in. And then when they keep saying all this green area is gonna be protected, is it gonna be protected as well as the pond right now at Roy Adams, where they're building the other subdivision? Because we were told that one was gonna be protected.
It's gone. That's what she said. They drank it.
But in that meeting that we have like this, before they built that subdivision, we were told that that pond was gonna be preserved and protected. And it's not. So are all these other ones that now they're claiming they're gonna protect, are they really gonna be protected and stay there?
Realize they drain that pond.
That's it.
Certain ponds are required for drainage, right, Sean? Yes. Okay. Okay. Would you like to come up and make comments, please?
So my name is Amy Lynch, and I live at 40 Fairfield Court. And the pond that was there, it's gone. They completely drained it, and they put a rock wall so it can go over. And then above that pond, there's piping that pipes down in for drainage from the roads. But the pond that was there with the fish and the ducks and the herons, that doesn't exist anymore. If it rains, we have water. If it doesn't, we don't. So to me, it's just a drain field. It's not a pond. And so back here, Dupree uses those for irrigation, and there's a ton of fish in there and geese and all that stuff. Well, again, are they going to kind of put a half-blooded dam in there so it's just for runoff water? It's not really a pond. That was what she was trying to say. That's what we have now when we live in the neighborhood.
Thank you for that. Any further comments? Yes, sir. Name and address for the record, please, sir.
Robert Cohen. I live at 271 Gardner Road. And I wanted to piggyback on some people are already saying what I was going to talk about. One of the things was the schools. We have, I think, one elementary school in Anger, and we're building 126 units adjacent to my property, and then this is going to be 271, and we're putting up play areas because there's obviously going to be kids. Where are the kids going to go to school, and the traffic at TIA, does that account for like where the cars are going? Because they're all going to be focused on the school at 7 or 8 in the morning. Everybody's going to be going there with their kids. So it's not like just random number of cars. It's all going to be focused in one area. So I was just wondering if that was planned for. Also, the other person that in the blue shirt, he said that the units, his houses are selling wonderfully and everything, and they have plenty of money to complete the project. There was a news article today, and they were talking about building materials in lack of supply. So it doesn't matter how much money you have sometimes. If the building material's not there, you can't get it. And the buildings are being delayed, the completion of them's being delayed, and people put down a down payment months ago, and now it's like, since the interest rates have gone up, they're looking at $500 a month more. A lot of them are walking away. Some of them are borrowing cash from family members or whatever, but they said a lot of them were walking away from the deal because they just couldn't afford it anymore. So while he thinks maybe that he has all these sales, he might not have what he thinks he has, because a lot of these people might end up walking away from them. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there as a possibility. Comment about the trees. I appreciate that we're building on open land, but the bypass, which is running through my property, I have beautiful oak trees lining my driveway, and you're going to take them down. So sometimes you do take trees, sometimes you don't. And the last thing I wanted to say was we're planning for 2029, I've heard, and yet the bypass is planning for today, not 2029, because like when the previous mayor was here and we had this meeting and I said it needs to be wider, it's going to be like the 440 and have to do the 540. The mayor sat there and agreed with me, but nothing happened because it's like what somebody said, it's about the money. So that's all I have to say. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Any further comments? And again, if you'll tell us your name and address, please, sir.
Name's Clint Adams, 349 Tippett Road, and made a pretty good living through the years through the building industry. So I don't care how much profit they make on their houses. My concerns are a couple: the traffic. You can put all the turn lanes you want in, but if there's not a lot to stop that traffic, the number of cars ain't going to change, and they're not going to stop, so you can't get out. So a turn lane does you no good if you don't have a lot there to stop the traffic. And the traffic, I don't know if they took in the traffic study, the two subdivisions that's getting ready to go in on Bush Creek Road, Old Bush Creek Road, getting ready to be two there, one on both sides of the road. And they're gonna have access to sewer. So I imagine that's gonna be R6 or something. So that's gonna put a bunch of traffic right there on 55. And right now on 210, in the mornings and the evenings, you can't get out on Tippett Road on the 210 part, especially if you want to make a left turn and go towards Littleton. You can't do it. You need to turn right, go to Andrew, turn around and come back. And so traffic's going to be a major. And then Roy Adams Road is going to continue into that subdivision that's already been approved behind this one and connect to the future bypass. That's going to put a lot of, I guarantee people want to use that for a cut through. So I think the traffic studies is a little bit, y'all need to consider that, the traffic studies. I don't, I don't care how much money they make. I might want to make that money one day. But traffic is going to be a big safety concern. Big, and it's going to change the quality of life for people there. But we know our quality of life is already peaked. It's not going to get any better for us where we live out on Tippett Road. So that's no, what do? We can sell out too and get going. But traffic's going to be a big issue. The other thing, when you start compare apples to apples, not apples to oranges. Clearfield and everything around it has always been R30. And it might be R10 now, so does that mean if I had a lot in Clearfield, it's R30? Could I tear that house down and rezone it to R10 and put two houses on that lot?
If you've got 10,000 square feet each lot, yeah.
So Clearfield people could stand to make some money by selling their houses, and, but what I'm saying, compare apples to apples, not apples to oranges, and the traffic, and the two subdivisions that's going to be coming in on Bush Creek Road. Put them, not one, but two.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Other comments? Okay, hearing no further comments, I'll now address comments from the board.
I I do feel like I have to say something in the response to, I mean, and I'm listening. You heard me asking questions and up there about what it is. I think we all know, yes, I'm born and raised here in Anger all my life. And I never thought that it was going to stay Anger the way it was. Two of the things that we talk about now, and believe me, we talk about it all the time up here, and understand that we are frustrated when you talk about traffic. Have you ever tried to come through downtown Anger 210 or 55? We have nothing to do with that. They won't, the DOT will not put in another stoplight, guys. And I agree with you. I'd love to have it. Slowest, give me a chance to get in and out of somewhere, but we don't do that. Those are DOT roads. So I hear you about the stoplight, but I don't know what to say. I mean, it's not going to happen. As much as I've fought it all my life.
You got to have a certain number of accidents before
it has
Over
to do
three.
with, and it has to do with the traffic flow.
And that ain't true either.
We're shocked when DOT does an analysis that they pay for, the builders do, and they come back in here and DOT says, no, you don't need it. You got turning lanes, you got this or that. I live at the top of 55 right up here as you get to the crest of the hill. Do I wish there was a turning lane up there? You bet your life I do. But it's not going to happen because those homes are already there. So I'm just speaking in that world for just a moment. I'm sharing your frustration. And we don't build schools. The county has got to step up to the game. So we're going to say we're not letting any more children into Anger because we don't have the schools for them. That comes from the county, and we know we've been behind. We don't build the schools. That is the county. So in my head, I'm hearing, don't let children come in here because we don't have schools for them. And at the same time, we know it's not ideal where it is right now anyway. We're behind the times in schools, and we know that. And I don't know how to go about changing that. So I wanted to comment on just those two things that I did hear, that I'm sharing your thoughts and processing it in my head at the same time.
Okay. And this is time for comments from the board. We've heard from the audience. Are there further comments from the board?
Mr. Commissioner Coach, I want to elaborate on a couple. I had made notes, and you hit the schools and the traffic. Guys, earlier in the game when we started approving a lot of these R6s, we had to sit back and take a look at ourselves and look at the whole big picture. And we started putting these conditions to be incorporated in the zoning regulations into place. Gordon, you talk about stores, shopping centers and stuff. Alan, you talked about privacy. Clint, you talked about traffic. We was born and raised with all you guys. We know it, we understand it, but without the people, you're not going to get that stuff. You're not going to get shopping centers, and you're not going to get fancy restaurants and stuff if you don't have the people to come to them. That's another way you have to look at it. On your side of the street, that ain't the way you want to look at it, and we understand that. As far as this map here is concerned, Alan, I know you've talked about active spaces, open spaces. With the exception of some buffers and changing those houses up there from R6s to R10s, I truly don't think that it could get much better than this. As far as, with the exception of, like you said, clubhouses and swimming pools and stuff like that. I mean, way back there, we didn't have such as this when it was presented to us, and we made these changes for this. I'll just go back and say, and my mind isn't made up, but you can't expect, and I don't want nobody to be upset with Mr. Dupree, because you can't expect him to grow, like I said earlier, watermelons and soybeans and sweet potatoes the rest of his life. That's it for me.
Any further comments from the board? Are there comments from the board about adding an additional restriction for consideration
Yes.
about the buffers and the R10 lots where they adjoin existing residences?
I think the R6s do need to be changed to R10s. I think they're too small, entirely too small. Like you said, if a fire breaks out, they're not going to just say one. You know, I'm sorry, they're all going to be gone. I do think we need to have the buffers.
Sean?
I wouldn't want somebody being able to look in my house, and I think we just need to make sure that we take into consideration what they're saying.
Ms. Hawley and Alan, I know you both talked, the 15-foot buffer behind the townhouses, the little section that's cut out here on the map. The reason for the 15-foot is the height of the townhouses. That's the reason it's 15 versus 10?
It's the attached units triggers the requirement.
Okay.
Right.
How far do you want them to go, Alan, or all of us? Because you didn't kind of like that idea.
Right.
Which areas are we concerned about?
Right
The
down here, I
townhouses.
think. Isn't that the townhouses?
Well, I
Yeah.
know, but what, there's been
Well,
talk
this
about
goes
here.
from R6 to R10s.
Right,
It's for me, where there are adjoining properties already
right.
that need to be protected, their neighbors. As I said, they didn't choose, but these people that choose to buy these homes in this intersections, they know what they're buying. That's their choice.
Yep.
But I want to protect the homes that
existing
are
homeowners.
there so that we get a buffer to those. And I think she alluded to building something in some of these locations, but I would want to see that occur.
Can we just clarify, just so I understand, for
Yes,
the revised
Cindy.
conditions?
And let's do,
Yes.
because I'll tell you, this happened one night and somebody walked away and they didn't realize what they'd agreed to.
Right.
And then they came back and we had to do a Board of Adjustments meeting on changing that. So good to ask now.
Yes, sir.
For us and for you.
Right. So I just want to be, my thought as we are having these discussions, I want to make sure I understand what we're talking about for revising the conditions. And I'll just say the yellow in the upper right-hand corner, those will be revised to the minimum 10,000 square foot lots.
Yes.
Yes.
Right there where the
revision-
red dot was.
Yes, revision number 1. And then revision number 2 would be that we would install a 6-foot privacy fence behind the properties where there's an existing single-family home.
I
Where
don't.
would that be, Cindy, on the map?
Well, that's what,
Yeah.
Is that along Clearfield?
along Clearfield.
I don't think a 6-foot fence, because you're still going to be able to see. I'm sorry. I think there needs to be some kind of
Shrubbery or something.
shrubbery, yeah, some
Trees
kind of
or something.
vegetation there, so it can grow. Because I'm going to tell you, if somebody could see my backyard from the other side, 6 foot, I wouldn't be happy.
So. we can
And
do- we
and
can
Cindy,
do-
I think we're talking about only along your blue section here, because you've got green that's going to
we
remain.
can commit to a planted buffer.
That would be lovely.
We will do that instead of a fence. That's fine.
That would be
Because
great.
in 10 years' time, we know what that fence is going to look like.
Right.
And that's upkeep for somebody to have to do.
Right.
Cindy, what
Trees
about
and
down
things
at
grow
the
together.
townhouses down
Right.
there,
And
where
grow up.
Mr. Coates was talking about earlier, down where your
Yes, sir.
15-foot buffer is just that one little section there. What would you want with that, Alan?
I'm sorry, Junior.
This one right here.
Come for me again.
What do you want for that, the buffer right there?
I'm going to tell you here, I don't understand why you're sticking a 15-foot buffer behind townhouses. It's property. I don't
That's
get
what's required in the ordinance.
I
It's
understand.
required, yeah.
Somebody more stupid than me put that into effect years ago. I don't know. It doesn't make sense in my head. I try to think logically, and I don't get it. So I don't know that I would. Why? I don't know that I would see anything any different, Junior. And this other portion of land along the bottom is not. There are no homes and nothing's down there. So
Not right now.
no, but I'm giving them the benefit of that's not going to be their responsibility right now.
Right.
To, you know,
Let
it's
somebody
going to be
else
the
deal
next
with it.
person who's building beside that. Then they should have to put that buffer in
And
there.
truthfully, the reason we're showing the 15-foot buffer is because it is code required.
I gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
Cindy, I got a question for you now.
Yes,
I was
sir.
down there this weekend, matter of fact, and I rode down to the pond, because when we were talking about that development, we had a lot of flooding going across, and that was one of my biggest concerns. these ponds is just showing here on the map. They're not going to wind up looking like the one that's over there now, correct?
No, sir. And actually, I have Robbie Bell, who is our design engineer, and he has been looking at the land, looking at the stormwater implications, runoff, and things like that. And if you would like him to answer that question, since he's a professional engineer, we can have that.
I'm concerned. I want to hear that too, because what was a pond is now.
I do want to answer y'all's question about the pond on Roy Adams that was on the Cotswold subdivision.
Yes, sir.
Because I know a lot of people have asked about that. So when we intended to buy that property originally, 100% wanted to keep that pond. It's a great natural amenity. It was overflowing. If you got a drop of rain in there, it would overflow into the ditch.
flood the area.
And it was creating a high hazard dam. And so it wasn't a high hazard dam, but there was a situation where that dam could have burst.
Correct.
And so in the stormwater design of the Cotswold neighborhood, when we were designing the stormwater ponds there, the way that stormwater ponds are intended, they detain water to a certain level and then they release it over a period of time. And when they were doing the stormwater calculations in a certain rain event, there was a fear that that pond on Roy Adams was overflowing already. They could have potentially breached that dam and then wiped out some houses down below
There was no houses down
there. There's the back property, and it could have maybe not washed the house, but a back of a lot. It could have crazed down damage. Anyway, so we made the decision to drain it. We got permission from the adjacent property owner. There's a shared dam on there to breach it and lower the spillway and then drain it. So it will probably never hold water again. That is correct. Right now, it doesn't look great, but we're seeding it, and eventually it's going to turn into a nice meadow and a drainage channel, yes. So no, it will not be a nice pretty pond anymore, much to, it's not what we wanted either, but we thought it was the best for everybody that has to drive up and down Roy Adams and for anybody potentially downstream from it. So we had to drain it for that reason.
But these will stay intact.
These two ponds right now are irrigation ponds. There is no plans to drain them. I cannot tell you that they will never get drained because the same situation with the Cotswold. The intention is for them to stay in their state today, maybe put some sort of apparatus in there to get the algae moving and clean them up a little bit. But there will also be, but they are primarily used for irrigation today. And so they are buffered, they are protected to some extent. You can, if the situation came up where we did have to, there was a flow and there was a hazard situation, then we might have to drain them. But right now the intention and our understanding is that they can stay in place. And so we're designing our stormwater ponds around them. That's why you see multiple ponds on them.
Again, this is time for discussion from the board. Any further discussion?
The L buffer up in the left hand on the other side of the ones that were R6 to R10, on the other side, that L shape.
The backward L?
Yeah, at the very left top.
Oh,
yeah.
Adjacent to the three blue lots.
Right. Buffer.
Yes.
Okay. No fencing.
No fencing.
Okay.
Same
Just want to have it on record.
No, you're fine. Same application for the other blue lots will apply there as well.
Okay.
Anything else for me?
Is any further questions from the board?
Can I? And everybody now is going to get think that man is really stupid. I've asked this to be put into rezoning request or these changes, and I don't know how we write it in there, but I'm going to ask the question. When you are designing your entryway, maybe some of your planted play space and green space, could we ask that you please incorporate some crepe myrtles? I know that sounds stupid, but we are the town of crepe myrtles.
That's right.
And we are now, you're wanting us to open up and take in more to the town. And it was a plan that was put in effect years ago, and it is beautiful here. And we keep spreading out, but we don't keep some of that stuff that is near and dear to those of us that grew up here. A lot of the ones that we have gotten so old and they're becoming diseased, and we're losing a lot of them. I think it's a simple request. I don't think it's asking much in money from you to say, could you work some in maybe to your entryway? And
Absolutely.
all right. They're all going to go home and talk about me tonight. He was asking for crepe myrtles.
Crepe myrtles at the entryway and perhaps in each of the top lots.
Sure.
As part of our landscape.
Thank you.
Okay. So, as I have it right now, you're wanting a number 14 that says the lots numbered 12 through 21 should be reconfigured to R10. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And secondly, those that a 6-foot privacy fence be installed on lots adjacent to current residences?
No fence.
No fence.
No
No
fencing.
fence. I'm sorry. It's
No fencing.
it's the
The natural.
natural.
We've got a 15-foot type A buffer. That's a good reference point.
Okay, let's
you
do
wanna
it type A.
Add that as your buffer.
And we just type A.
Yeah.
This is going to grow in. I mean,
All right. And folks, let me explain. I gave you a time to talk, and then we then had to give the board a time to talk. So I'm not trying to shut you down. This is a procedure that we have to follow, and I have tried to give more lenience. So, any further discussion from the board?
You got all that,
I'm going to close the public hearing.
we got all of it documented, what's going to be added.
Well, that's what we need to discuss right
Okay.
now. So, number 14 is that the yellow lots, numbers 12 through 21, would be reconfigured to R10.
Yes.
And I take it those would be included in the number of R10 lots total that's proposed,
When you say
right?
R10, you mean minimum 10,000 square feet, right?
Right.
Okay.
All right. And then 15, a foot,
Not all the lots, just in that one section. Yeah. No, you're
all right. Then in 15, a type A 15-foot buffer would be provided where there are existing residences on the other side of the lot, the rear lot line. Does that say it?
Adjacent to occupied lots currently.
Adjacent
Is that the
to
intent?
occupied lots.
So that's all the ones along Clearfield. That's all the ones along 12 through 21. That's the one on this back corner that we discussed. Anywhere else?
Okay. Does that work?
Cindy, can
And
y'all
again,
do
we're
that?
just trying to get it in position so that we can vote.
Sean, I got a quick question. Where on the upper left-hand corner there, what's that? Looks like a road there. Is that a drainage? Yeah, right there.
It's a stream.
Stream.
Okay. So, further discussion from the board.
Mayor, I think the last condition was what Alan was just referring to also, as far as planting crepe myrtles at the entryway and also within the open space tot lots.
Yes.
Park,
In the open space.
in the
lot.
parks.
Okay. All right, so that's number 16. Are we on the same page at least as to what the proposal is?
John, have we left anything out?
And the only thing else that I can go and gauge on, and I want to reiterate this because it may not happen. I'm going to trust Cindy when she shows me playgrounds that look like playgrounds, not just a bench stuck there with an open lot. All I can do is trust that you're going to put in nice things for these families in these areas. No way we can put it on paper, but we might see you in here again. So I trust when I see that's what you are planning on doing for these homes. Okay?
Okay. We've had a really good discussion. Thank you all for your contributions. Is there a motion to approve or deny the conditional rezoning, including the 16 different conditions that have been added?
I'll stick my foot out there.
Nobody wants to do it. I hear you. I hear you.
It's the board's voting.
It's now the time for the board to vote. Is there a motion? Please let us finish up here. What is there a motion?
I make a motion that we table it. I'm just one vote. If y'all want it, you vote, but I think we should table it.
Any discussion on the motion to table? All in favor of the motion to table, please raise your right hand. That's 2. All against the motion to table, raise your right hand. Okay.
Guess what, Bob?
Guess what?
That's why you get paid the big bucks.
Yep. All right. Folks, I have a vision for Anger. It's hard always to see it right now. It's hard to understand the implications sometimes of what's going forward. But the one thing that comes to mind is that if we don't control the growth here and people come in from outside and take away our subdivisions, then we don't know what we're going to get. I respectfully and genuinely concerned vote to approve. So the conditional zoning passes.
Well, hang on. That was you were breaking the tie on the motion to table.
Oh, the motion. I'm sorry. The motion to table. I apologize. I sent the wrong signal. The jury will disregard that last thing. Okay. So the motion to table, I'm voting against. Okay. So it's back on the. I gave myself away.
Hey, do what y'all need to do. You're responsible for your actions, not me.
All right. Well, with that, I will make a motion to approve with the conditions set forth. Tabling is not going to change anything in what we're doing. We got things done with that, so that is not going to. Tabling is not going to change our their plan or our plan. So I do make a motion that we approve with the 16 additions here.
Are you ready to vote?
Yeah.
All in favor of approving the conditional rezoning, please raise your right hand. All against? Okay. What I said previously, I really do believe that on balance, it's the right thing to move forward. So I vote to approve the conditional rezoning. It passes. Okay. Let me see if I can back out from the
What time is it? Oh, gosh.
We'll take a minute break.
Yeah, can we take about a 5-minute break?
We'll take a 5-minute break. Have another rezoning request submitted by David Card, approximately 0.69 acres. Again, it's 635 Tippett Road, Anger. Sean, do you want to tell us about that, please?
I think we have number 3 before that one.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Gemstone
You're
Homes.
absolutely right. Number 3, Gemstone Homes, application to rezone 0.34 acres, 562 Circle Drive in Anger. Okay, if you'll present the information for us, Sean.
Yes, sir. Property owner is K&C Property Holdings, LLC. Property in question, just over a third of an acre at 562 Circle Drive. Applicant is Gemstone Homes, LLC. Current zoning is R10, and proposed zoning is R6. Veronica, could you scroll down the page here? Vicinity maps for your reference. This is on the south side of Circle Drive. Directly south of this parcel is the Oak Hill Living Center here. There's Highway 210 to your south, North Hickory Street and Circle Drive headed east towards the property. Can you keep scrolling? Page 2 of your staff report, zoning compatibility map. The tan color surrounding the property in question with the red arrow. The neighborhood is zoned all R10, including the Oak Hill Living Center to the south. This yellowish color off to the east here is RA30. Did want to point out the new Spring Village subdivision currently under development is right here on this yellow tract. They also have an exit right here onto Circle Drive, just a few houses east of the property in question. Like I said, proposed is R6. The main difference between R10 and R6 is the minimum lot size allowed. In addition to, which is important for infill development on lots like this, reduction in side setback from 5 feet or from 10 feet down to 5 feet, rather, with the R6 district.
But with conditional R6, there's not a whole lot of difference, except what you've just said.
Not unless the board places an additional condition.
Okay.
Right. Physical description, this property is currently wooded. You can see it's kind of nestled between 2 single-family houses on either side on Circle as well. There is public water and sewer available to serve this lot. The main difference here, the applicant has expressed a desire to build a duplex rather than one single-family home on the lot in question. R10 requires a 10,000 square foot minimum. So to build a duplex, you would need twice an R10 minimum size, so a 20,000 square foot lot to fit a duplex. Whereas if he rezones down to R6, now he only needs 12,000 square feet to build a duplex, which he has. So that's the intent here. The proposed rezoning is in line with our medium density residential. Again, it doesn't change the overall density of the neighborhood just by adding one more unit that's currently shown on the map today. That's why staff recommended approval of the rezoning. A duplex is not all that different than a single-family home from a planning standpoint. Did want to point out with this one, there was a split vote of the planning board. There were 4 voting members that night in the June meeting, and 2 voted for it and 2 voted against it. Okay.
So that's not really a recommendation then?
They failed to provide a recommendation one way or the other. Okay. Yes, sir. Are there any questions from staff?
Okay, we're open a public hearing. Is there any comment from those in attendance in the audience?
Mr. Mayor, would it be, Dan, would it be okay to ask the chair for the planning board their input on this, since she is available?
Yes. Why don't we see first if there's any comment from those in attendance out here? If not, with no objection from the board, be happy to let the chair of the planning board present. If Dan, you're okay with that?
Yeah, I think that's okay.
Okay.
And now this would not be a planning board recommendation.
No.
Right.
Correct.
Or failed to speak.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Come on down. And just for the record, state your name and address, please.
Christina Casacavi,
198 Windsor Drive, Andrew, North Carolina. As Sean said, it was a 2-for, 2 against vote. The only thing that I can say in the conversations was the concern about how small the lot size was and what's already built there. It was just in meeting with the developer, they had talked about what their plans a little bit were, even though our vote couldn't be based on that. They just felt, the 2 against just felt that the R6 was just not inconclusive to what's already there, which is the R10. They wanted to keep it the same.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions?
Nope.
If not, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any comments other than that from anywhere else other than the board? Sir.
I'm just at home, so is this one I should come up?
Yes.
And I actually have some, just to give you guys an idea, I know the setbacks get shrunk down, but I am not doing that. There will still be close to 25-foot setbacks with my proposed duplex. Very similar to what I'm building currently on Broad Street. Pretty much a very similar plan. Give you an idea what it's going to look like. You can see from the lot size, I've got almost 95 feet, or right at 95 feet, and the actual foundation is only 46 feet. So there will be over 24 feet on each side. So I'm not trying to bust this out to the max. It's just trying to get some more affordable housing, something that looks really nice. A young buyer can, purchase their own property. They'll still have their half of the lot. It's a pretty decent sized lot even for that community. So that was kind of my and that kind of highlighted, there are 5 different multifamilies. I think 3 are actually on Circle. I looked them up today. I think they are actual Circle Drive addresses, and then 2 are on, I think it's Leicester.
So an alternative to renting.
Right.
Okay.
And still being able to keep it relatively affordable. The same, it's 3-bedroom, 2.5 baths, which are very common with what's in the neighborhood. It's just I was 5 feet short of being able to build 2 single families in R6, or else I would do that. But I'm unfortunately 4.3 or 4 feet short of being able to do that.
What is your first name again?
Ken Godwin.
Ken, will it look pretty for me, similar to this?
Yes. The only thing that could or could not is the black windows, just with supply issues. But other than the black windows,
Hardy plank out front.
Yep, everything's gonna be hardy plank, no vinyl. So
that's beautiful.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, we really pride ourselves on this curb appeal. I want it to look nice.
These are slabs.
No, they're gonna be crawls.
Crawl.
Mm-hmm. Be a sealed crawl, so that people don't have to worry about the high humidity. In the
That's
area.
beautiful there.
That's kind of after the first home that had mold problems in the crawl. I've sealed all of them ever since, so that people don't have to worry about that.
Any other questions for the developer from the board, the contractor? Okay, thank you, sir. Any comments from the board? Questions? The public hearing.
I'm going to go ahead and make my comment.
Okay.
It's a beautiful house, beautiful duplex. It would stand out like a sore thumb. I've talked to constituents this afternoon. I walked the area. None of them were in favor of this. It's a beautiful duplex. But you need to take in consideration the subdivision and the people out there. So that's all I got to say.
And just to clarify for the board, when we're talking about rezoning here, you're not talking about necessarily the use that they're going to make of it, but just the zoning itself and whether the zoning itself is consistent.
Once again, yeah. Further discussion from the board? Is there a motion?
Because all the other ones out there are 10s, right? All of them are.
Just a second, Bob.
Okay.
And Sean, am I correct that all the other ones around there, the surrounding areas are R10?
It's a vacant lot now, correct?
Mm-hmm.
The only one.
Hmm?
Yeah, it's the only one.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make the motion that we I request that it be rezoned from R10 to R6.
Okay. Discussion from the board. Hearing none, the motion is that the application of Gemstone Homes to rezone .34 acres at 562 Circle Drive be changed from R10 to R6. All in favor of this, please raise your right hand. All against? It fails. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. Now, number 4 rezoning request submitted by David Card. 0.69 acres located at 635 Tippett Road in Anger from RA30 to R15. Sean?
Yes, sir. This property is owned by Ms. Julianne Spears. The applicant is Mr. David Card. Property in question, 635 Tippett Road. Can you scroll down a little bit? Red arrow is pointing to the property on the map. It is a small blue box right there, roughly 0.69 acres. It does have a current residential home on the property currently.
Okay.
Just to give the board an idea of the intent of the applicant up front, Mr. Card owns the adjacent vacant tract, and I believe he is working with Ms. Spears to purchase a portion of her yard that's unused currently to recombine with his next door, thus making hers reduce less than that 30,000 square feet.
Okay.
That's why it needs to go down to R15 in the applicant's mind.
So you know where it's at.
Requested district is R15. You've heard my spiel plenty of times. You know R15 requires 15,000 minimum square foot rather than 30,000 in RA30. You know that single-family homes are permitted in both. Multifamily is not permitted in R15 or RA30. There's a land use plan for reference. The entire area on Tippett Road classified for medium density residential. This rezoning would not change that. There is not, did want to point out, there is not public sewer currently available in this area on Tippett Road. There is Town of Anger water available, which I believe the residence is currently using.
Is the lot large enough for sewer? I mean, for septic?
It does have a current septic system.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Staff did recommend approval to R15 based on the applicant's desire to recombine with the property next door. It does not change the use of the property, does not affect the existing home on the property, and we expect that to stay the same. And the planning board did also recommend approval to R15.
Would that require a formal re-subdividing?
Called a recombination plat. Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is just the zoning part of that.
Which would allow for that recombination.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Any questions of Sean?
Nope.
Open a public hearing. Any comments from those in the audience? Hearing none. Are there any questions or comments from the board? Okay, I'll close the public hearing. Is there discussion by the board?
Nope.
Or 15 seems to work okay.
Yeah.
Is there a motion?
I make a.
Go ahead, Alan.
We can do it together. I make a motion that we approve this rezoning request from RA 30 to R15.
Submitted by David Carr.
Okay. All right. Any further discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. It's unanimous. Okay, Madam Clerk. All right. Then the next item is the text amendment that the police department talked about last time, and they were to come back with some changes.
Okay. A copy of the revised ordinance was sent out earlier. Hope everyone received that. Real quick, I just wanted to highlight a few things. Outdated ordinance has been deleted. Several ordinance have been added, including some parking ordinance rules for the Andrew Park. We included that. Town attorney gave us a copy of the panhandling ordinance that they use, so we included that. And overall, the town attorney has approved the revisions for the new town ordinance.
Maybe not.
Page number.
It ain't. I thought that was it.
There was a new law passed that said if you were going to charge a civil penalty, it needs to be set forth in the ordinance itself, and so we've updated that to include that language as well.
Can I ask a question here? I can't find this if it was sent out.
Yeah.
I don't see it in the agenda report. So
It was not, you just got that today.
today,
By paper copy.
We
Where
need to
is
look
it?
at the email. Hold on.
wait,
I don't believe any, did it go out to the board this weekend?
No.
Okay, you got the paper copy today.
whoa, I don't. Nope.
I don't seem to have it.
I made
Okay.
a copy for everyone.
All right. I hate to say this, guys, and I would be the last to say it, but I just got this, and I haven't had a chance to look at it, so I can't even ask you any questions. That's my thought on the matter. I would love to have gotten it earlier, but right now, no, I have not looked at this packet. So I feel that we need a little bit more time. We put this off until,
Next board meeting?
either the next board meeting or something, but.
Do it at the work session.
Okay.
Well, yes, I just say I'm sorry, and I know we pressed you to get this to us, but I personally don't feel good about until I have a chance to look at it.
Right.
Maybe if you would just give us a summary of the changes, that quick summary.
Some of the changes, like Dan said, was he went through and under each ordinance, he's got a violation of this ordinance shall result in a civil penalty of the $50 that we discussed the last meeting that we were here. And that's under each individual section.
Okay.
We also added the parking in the same direction of travel or the opposite direction of travel ordinance. We added that to the ordinances itself. And like Chief Thompson stated, that Dan had brought us a panhandling ordinance from another municipality that we incorporated into our ordinances as well, to help alleviate our panhandling issues that we have in town. And other than that, like Chief said, a lot of the ordinances that we no longer use or utilize or is no longer valid, we just deleted, we got rid of them.
Great.
We added verbiage in there so that we can start civilly charging people that violate the park rules that are set forth at the front instead of just running them off. We can actually,
Good.
if we start getting the same people over and over again, we can start charging them. And
Criminally,
that's the
yeah.
summary. Everything is, as long as we have the verbiage that the violation of the ordinance is a civil penalty in under each individual section, then we're covered by the law. And
Okay.
then just adding the two ordinances of the parking that we had discussed,
Mhm.
and the panhandle.
Now,
Okay.
what about with subdivisions, parking in,
Because it's a private,
okay.
like we discussed
Just
last time. It's
wanted,
private.
just
Wait
wanted
a
to
minute,
document
wait a
it.
minute. The roads in the subdivision are public, right?
No, it's private.
Yeah.
My subdivision roads is public.
If it's a state maintained road, yes. If it's not, then no.
Yeah.
Or a town maintained road.
Dan?
Somebody, what's the deal with, aren't all the roads, most of the roads in the town maintained public roads?
Majority of the roads are town maintained,
Right.
with the exception of the
Mhm.
Okay, and those are state maintained, but a subdivision, when a subdivision's approved, they dedicate the roads to the town, right?
We accept the roads.
So they're public roads, right?
So that overrides the HOA? Or
Oh, I don't
what?
know.
How does that work? Because
What?
there's some subdivisions, I mean, they have a lot of cars that are parked in the opposite direction
I mean, I think
in the streets. That's why.
the ordinance is control over the HOA. Town roads.
So they have to be upheld,
Be
right?
off- Right. In that case, they have to be off the road.
So that would, we've got the verbiage in there that would take care of that. But we
Okay.
can enforce it as far as chapter 20 law.
The subdivision may, for instance, provide that no one can park on the roads, for instance. But in terms of the public road, that's under public law. And
So if they do allow you to park in the road, though, they have to follow under y'all's ordinance, correct?
They'll follow under the town parking.
Right.
right, okay.
Okay.
Is there, based on the comments earlier, is there a motion to table?
I make a motion that we table, and I appreciate you going back over that again. Unfortunately, I was over here scrambling, going, "Where is this? I haven't seen it," so I didn't hear a thing you said. So thank you for putting that to alert us as to what to look for when we do look at it. But I make a motion that we table this until our next meeting.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor, raise your right hand. All against? So you were in favor. So it's 4 in favor. Okay.
Can I ask one more question? A couple years ago, we took down a lot of the signs in downtown, no parking during certain hours and all that. Is there a way we can get those back? Put the signs back up, or would that be more of a headache for you all?
That would be up to Jimmy and some of his guys with
Well, let me say this too, because we want to unclutter our downtown with signs.
Mhm.
So now we're talking about putting more
Well,
signs
I mean, you
back
just
up
have
here.
some people that park in certain areas that should be utilized for customers, and
Right.
it's not. So that's why I was.
You mean a 2-hour parking
Mhm.
limit?
We are probably moving that way
Exactly.
in the future.
Exactly.
If
Should we
we
paint?
we have any
Jimmy's going to be
questions-
like, "What in the world?"
Scott, if we have any questions about
Would it
this,
be easier
we
to have like
communicate with y'all.
painted sections, 2-hour curb?
Was
I'll
anything,
be on vacation this week, but Chief should be.
anything in here can be changed with your approval?
Yeah, I believe everything that you guys talked about wanting to be changed is in this revised
Right.
proposal right here.
If there's additional changes that y'all want to see.
I mean, the only thing, and I hadn't read through a section of it, but the only thing that stands out to me are y'all really going to enforce funeral procession?
Well, it's there for a tool if we needed it. If somebody wanted to act, and I know we're.
Yeah,
If
I
somebody
got you.
wanted to act foolish,
Gotcha.
That's one of my pet peeves. Now, if a loved one of mine was being
Right.
carried to a cemetery and somebody wanted to act crazy.
Right,
I
right.
would like to have a tool in my pocket. I could do something about it.
Right.
Mhm.
But there again, that's.
No, I think it should.
And if we wanted something added, like, I see something in here about bicycles, but Do we require lights on bicycles now? Some kind of identification?
Not as the reflector, this is a.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we'll take that up at the next.
I'd rather not.
Thank
Yeah.
you for doing this. It's a lot of work.
I think I'm looking at so much
Okay.
there as it is.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
When did you postpone it
To the workshop.
I don't think we're gonna have a workshop if I was there.
Well, that was going to be my report, because that'd be the only item there. So if this can wait,
There's no
yeah,
giant rush.
it could be August meeting. I don't think,
So by consent, the next board meeting, right?
yeah.
Okay.
Dan, I have a quick question. Because it's a public hearing and we didn't actually have one tonight, do we have to reschedule that for the next board meeting?
We could actually have a public hearing right now and then table the vote.
That'd be the way to do it.
Okay.
If we advertise it for public hearing, perhaps that would be the best way of handling it.
Otherwise, we'd have to pay for it again.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so do we consider their presentation as the presentation of the proposed ordinance? Are there any, I'll open the public hearing. Are there any comments from the audience?
Can we get the packet too? How do we have a public hearing without information?
Did y'all post this
Yeah, we can.
public? But after tonight, they can't have another public hearing.
Would we
After
typically
tonight, you
include
can't have
that in
another.
the public hearing notice?
I'm sorry?
This, no,
That wouldn't
That-
typically be part of the notice.
no.
Could we continue the public hearing?
You could.
All right, so let's start the public hearing tonight, and then we'll put this online,
Yeah.
and then
Things
continue
should be
the.
re-advertised if you're continuing the public hearing.
You'd still have to advertise it.
I don't think that you do.
Okay.
You don't?
I think as
I
long
don't-
as we announce tonight when we're having it, we don't have to re-advertise.
I think that's correct.
Okay.
So if you announce that we're having the continuation of the public hearing at the August 3rd or whatever it is.
All right.
Right.
So anybody else want to make any other comments tonight? But we were proposing to continue it. Is there a motion to continue the public hearing until the board meeting next month?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, the motion is made. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it's unanimous. All right, so we'll expect y'all to be prepared to come against us next time, or towards us next time. All right, thank you, guys. I think this is going to be helpful. All right, new business. Courtney and Bob. John's got it. Okay. You don't look like Courtney and Bob.
I'm going to put my community development hat on now.
All right, 10-4. Good buddy.
Ms. Keeper is on vacation. I'm going to announce 4 road closures for the board to consider for upcoming events throughout the rest of the year. The first of which, next Saturday, July 16th, we have a Rock and Rides truck show event from Bob and Courtney. We'll be hosting in coordination with town staff. I wanted to point out this is directly following the Andrew Morning Market that morning. So the road will stay closed on through the afternoon and evening that was already planned and approved to be closed. Wanted to bring this amendment to you. You look at the back of that sheet that I placed before you. That's where the road closure is, highlighted in red. We are talking about only blocking the portion of South Broad Street between 210 and Lillington Street for this truck show. So Lillington Street will remain open, and the South Broad portion below Lillington will remain open, so the traffic can flow through.
Okay, why don't we take these separately? Is there a motion to approve the road closure on July the 16th for Rock and Rides?
I make the motion that we close Broad Street for the truck show.
Any further discussion?
Has all the businesses over there been notified, John?
That's my understanding.
Okay, all in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, that one passes. Okay, Sean B.
Number 2, Crepe Myrtle celebration's right around the corner. This will be the Friday, September 9th and Saturday, September 10th portion of the event. Again, the road closure is on the back page of that board meeting action form that I dropped off to each board member. You can see the street portion in red. That's all of South Broad Street south of 210 all the way to MacIver would be closed. And the portion of Lillington Street from South Broad Street over to the edge of the depot property would be closed. In addition to that portion of South Broad Street west, where the town's Future Farmers Market site is, and the formerly Morris Coates property is, that portion of South Broad Street west would also be closed for Crepe Myrtle those 2 days, that Friday and Saturday.
No, it would not be closed that Friday. No road closures that Friday. Just
Zero.
Saturday.
Just Saturday. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Their motion to do the road closures on September 10th for Crepe.
Make a
Crepe
motion that we make the road closures happen for the Crepe Myrtle
Any
Festival.
discussion?
Sean, is this the same road closures we had in the past?
Same as.
Right here.
No further discussion. All in favor, please raise your right hand to approve it.
They're just doing it for entertainment. Everything's
Oh,
free.
sorry, we're gabbing.
Okay. All right. Thank you. It's approved. I'm going to have to separate y'all now.
He was asking a very valuable question.
I understand. All right. The third one is Christmas on the Square on December the 1st. Sean, you're up.
Yes, sir. A small portion of road to be closed. This is Lillington Street directly behind the caboose, behind the depot, and that portion of South Broad Street extending south along the Farmers Market Morris Coates parking site. That's December 1st from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. for the Christmas on the Square event.
Can we combine C and D since it's both for Christmas?
And then December 3rd, we'll have the Christmas parade. The road closures are on the back of that sheet as well. I believe there is a revised route on the Christmas parade.
Mhm.
Just wanted to make sure everybody got a chance to look at that. It will end in Jack Marley Park this year.
Right.
That's the change.
You had talked about that.
Okay.
I make a motion that we approve both,
C and D. Okay.
C and D.
For December 1st and
For-
December 3rd.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Any discussion?
I think we need to postpone Christmas.
Everybody good?
We're gonna start at Andrew Baptist Church, or like we've always done, right?
Yes, sir. It will still start at Andrew Baptist and go the same route, but instead of in and at Trinity, it's gonna make a turn, and we'll have police presence there, but it's gonna make a turn on the North Dunn Street to East Williams and end at the park. Jack Marley
Okay.
Park.
Fabulous.
We have a lot more room.
Right.
A lot
Okay. If
better.
no further discussion, all in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, that's approved. Okay. Town manager's report. We have waited anxiously for this.
Yeah, don't fall asleep. Yeah, Mr. Mayor, members of the board, just a couple of things. And I know you've asked about it a couple of times, but the property behind Thanks a Latte, but not owned by Thanks a Latte, it's a different owner. Dan and I are working on processing that to the courthouse because the property owner and I could not reach an offer agreement on that piece of property. So we'll work on that as quickly as we can. The third one is, and you guys answered it, we don't have any items for the July workshop, so we were going to just cancel that meeting altogether. If something pressing does come up, I will reach out to the board, but right now we do not.
Okay.
And
Is that
lastly,
the consent of the board?
That's fine with me.
But
Cancel
if
the-
there's nothing agenda-wise to
Right.
do,
Unless Jerry
I'm fine
comes
with
back to us, we won't
Right, I
have
mean, if
the
something were
the
to
workshop.
press, yes.
Okay.
right, sure.
yes.
And then lastly, at your desk, you have the general fund and utility fund budgets for starting July 1 for fiscal year 23. And again, I just want to thank staff for their hard work during this process, and also for Melissa for assembling these books. So all staff has a booklet, and also now the board does.
They did an excellent
thanks.
job. Thank you so much, guys.
You know, they've just sat there during this whole thing, listened to us, and smiled. I think we need to give our staff a hand for just being the competent people they are.
The children were well behaved.
Well behaved.
I think they need to come up and say something.
Well, just so you know, I got about 8 texts, can I go home? So, and that was an hour ago.
Okay. Well, are you ready to go home?
Can I make one comment? I've had some constituents reach out to me about some of the signs that says the town of Anger. Down at the bottom, you know, where we have like the Lions Club, the Kiwanis and everything. Can we please replace the one coming in on 210? You can't even see them anymore. Yeah. Well, the
Okay.
one that's down, the one as you're getting ready to leave Andrew, going to McGee's Crossroads, you can see those. But the other ones, you really can't.
Let me give you a little history on that. I believe that particular sign was upgraded by the Rotary Club. The Kiwanis Club did the one coming in from Fuquay, I think, or yeah, that one on out by the gas station. And so it was privately done the last time, but you know, certainly if the town.
So you can see them, or you just
see them.
Are you suggesting that the town do it this time?
Whoever's responsible needs to do it. You can't even see, like the one that's in front of Domino's.
And you're talking about the entry, the entry
Yeah,
signs.
you can't-
Have the club symbols on
Yeah,
it.
Yeah,
the club
I believe
symbols.
those were paid for and donated to the town, so it would be our responsibility to keep them clean.
Yeah, you can't even see what they are
Right.
on this one.
So the
I
one,
think-
so the one north, Fuquay, because of the bypass, NCDOT has purchased that. So
Right.
we're going to have to relocate that because
Okay.
that's in alignment of the bypass.
All right.
Well, can we relocate it right in front of Domino's?
So we'll look into that.
I think Willis Gregory, for instance, was one of the people who contributed towards the signs last time. So
saying, go back,
All right.
bring it all back, it all, or just.
Department
No, it's
reports.
No printing. You can't even see the signs. They're all faded out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's no printing. You just
It
can't
is
see 'em.
13 minutes to 10.
I make a motion that we
I would just like to know
adjourn.
about the new,
You're out of order.
people that's
Okay.
been passed to hire, where y'all stand with that?
As far as for the new budget,
John and,
for the new budget,
yeah,
so we've the police department has 2 new positions which we can hire in July and August because that's how it's budgeted. Jimmy's got 2.
Those positions have been posted, as well as one of Jimmy's positions have been posted to be hired in August. And then we had a discussion earlier today of when to post for the other future hirings, and we'll probably be posting those a couple of months ahead of the hire date to give enough time for applications to be turned in. So we've got kind of a plan of when we're going to start posting everything, but there are currently positions posted for PD and for Public Works.
Yeah, if you remember, those positions were spread out. So Public Works will have another one in January. Sean will have January, and then Hans will have one in April.
Okay.
I did take
This
the
from our
time- I
HR
did take the time today to visit Public Works and Police Department, and done a lot of work, Chief, and your guys have, and y'all look comfortable in there. And Public Works, y'all look good. How's Sean and them doing over at the other place? I got plenty of room.
They got room. We need to do some sprucing up in there, but yes.
I would like to know why our director of Public Works don't have a public parking spot, and you get to park under the shed.
It was by request. And you're no longer allowed to come there anymore. If you're going to point me out.
Oh, Lord. Now can I make a motion that we adjourn?
No,
Long
no.
overdue.
I feel duty bound to say if any departments want to make any sort of report, if they can do it within 3 sentences, please proceed. Okay.
For all that y'all do.
Hans?
Just give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down, Hans. Which is it?
We are too.
Okay.
Derek?
No workshop, right?
Right. Lee, you've already had some time to talk, but anything else? All right. Okay. And Jimmy? Library? Okay. All right. Now, make your motion.
Now I make the motion that we adjourn. Good night, everyone.
All in favor, leave.
Y'all don't think that's Alan? Y'all don't think that's pretty?
I do. I think it's really pretty.